Hi everybody, Diane here from yogastea.com. I'm here putting together a few poses for finding comfort or relieving discomfort in your body if you have a baby on board. I'm so fortunate that my sister-in-law is having a baby in February, and two more of my friends are also having babies around the same time, February, March. So I'm around a lot of pregnant people, and they're often have a lot of discomfort in their bodies. I had two babies, natural birth with no drugs, and I found that my yoga really helped me with my breathing and staying focused and helped me in relieving pain and pressure in my low back. So I want to show you some of the things that I've learned and some of the stuff that I can help you with to relieve stress, pain, anxiety, all of the above. So I'm going to go back to my mat and we're going to do some poses. I always like to sit on a meditation cushion. That's what you saw me kind of toss on my mat here. And I will link in the description box below where I get my props so that you can get some too. I have a place where they're very reasonable. And if you live in the States, I think it's free shipping too. So I'll post that in the description box down below. So I'm just sitting in a cross-legged position here. I was going to put a pillow in my shirt so you can get an idea of what it's like to have baby on board. So I'll just pretend with this blanket for now. I like sitting when I was pregnant more in a what we call Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose, just to make room for your belly. And then I like to just place my hands on my belly and take a few deep breaths. So sometimes this helps when you are maybe feeling a little anxious, maybe when you're going into your first throes of labor, or you're experiencing Braxton Hicks. It's nice to just have some quiet time. I have a little bit of advice for those of you who are attempting a natural birth. I'm not going to lie to you. They call it discomfort, but it really is pain. But I want you to know this. The pain is manageable if you just relax into it. I know it sounds really, really strange, but the first thing we want to do when we feel discomfort is to kind of contract around that, right? But if you can let go and come to your breathing, it can be a lot easier and it can just kind of relieve some of the anxiety and make the pain or the contractions a little more manageable. So I just want you guys to know this right from the beginning. You're capable and you're able to do this, and whatever outcome you have in your birthing plan is okay. Do not beat yourself up about it. So if you're attempting natural, let's start with the breathing. When I was in prenatal classes, they taught us a bunch of breath that didn't actually end up working. The minute I started into my labor, I started going back to what my natural birthing classes had talked about, and I was probably exhausted in the first 20 minutes of that breath. So I just came back to my yogic breath. Here's what I would recommend. Making your exhalations a little bit longer than your inhalations. So what does that do? That stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest system. This is actually going to relax your body and help you prepare for birth. So just close your eyes for a moment and sit comfortably. So if this isn't comfortable, pick another place to sit or sit on a chair. And then work on just breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Just a little bit, and just find the pattern for your natural breathing. And then lengthen the exhalations. When you take an inhale, maybe inhale for 2. And when you take an exhale, maybe exhale for 4. So let's do that for a few breaths. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling for 4. And you can do this in through the nose, out through the nose. This is yogic breath. Or you can do it in through the nose, out through the mouth if it feels more comfortable for you. So when your labor or your contractions start, just choose one or the other. You do what's best for your body. There's no hard and fast rule about how to do this breath. The one thing you do want to keep in mind is you want to keep the exhalations a little bit longer than the inhalations. I often recommend 2 to 1, or so 1 to 2. So inhale for 2, exhale for 4, inhale for 1, exhale for 2. You get the general idea. So try a few of them right now. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing you might want to check out, I'm going to take my baby out, my blanket baby, is I know a lot of people feel really sore in their hips. So we'll have a little bit of stretching for the hips. So around me I have a few props. I grabbed this cushion from my sofa. So it's a pretty soft cushion. You're able to fold it to prop yourself up with it. So if you don't have yoga props, this is a great alternative. I also have a blanket for propping myself up. And then, I don't know if you can see these, but off to the side here, I have a plethora of yoga props, which I use in my practice. So whatever you have around you is fine. So the first thing I'm gonna introduce to you is something called lizard pose. And a variation of lizard pose is also gecko pose. So this is a pose that is practiced in yin yoga, which is really designed to stretch the connective tissues. So I found it was really helpful in releasing some of the pain in my low back, which I found really tough. And it also was helpful in getting my hips ready for birth. So I'm going to come on to my hands and knees, and I'm going to use whatever props I have around me. So let's start with the cushion from the couch, because I think that's what's most accessible to most of us. So first of all, I'm going to come onto my hands and knees, and before I come into gecko or lizard pose, I'll do a few cat cows. So take your knees out as wide as you need to make room for baby. Spread your fingertips out nice and wide. I like to curl my toes under because it helps protect my knees. But if you want to have your feet flat, go ahead and do that. And you can just start with what I call undulating the spine. So we're just going to inhale, soften the belly down, lift the sit bones, and on the exhale, push the floor away from you and round. And I found that was really helpful during labor, and it was really helpful pre-labor to help stretch out my low back. So do as many of these as feels comfortable in your body, but really just give yourself an opportunity to move and kind of just enjoy a little bit of movement in the body. Then you can make this pose a little bit bigger. You can start to shift your shoulders forward and bring your heels back. Now here's where the stretch gets really kind of delicious, right? Forward and back, forward and back, and just take a few of these. And then what I found was really helpful when I was really sore in my low back is a Thai yoga technique where you sit your bottom back towards your heels, and this is child's pose. If you like, you can almost place a blanket, block, or bolster underneath your head if your head doesn't quite make it to the floor. But your knees are out nice and wide to make space for baby. And I've asked my husband Alan to come in and show us how we can relieve a little pressure in the low back, is that you can get your partner, spouse, sister, mom, whoever's around you, to just apply a little bit of pressure, rooting the sitting bones down. So he's gonna put his hands on either side of my hips and just pull my sit bones or my bottom towards my heel. And if your partner is really helpful, see how he's kind of just kneading back and forth? That relieves some of the pressure on the low back. You'll notice that I'm really making a lot of space for baby, and Alan's coming up onto his fists. It's actually pretty delicious. So if you know somebody, if you can get your cat to do this, I think that's actually kind of funny, but you can just get somebody just to do a little bit of kneading, and he's just pressing on either side of my spine, right at the ridge of my hips and my sacrum, on either side of my sacrum, and it's really good for a sore back in general. So you can just have them do this. It's also really nice in labor pose as well, to have a little bit of a massage on your low back. So that's one way to help relieve some of the stress. Thanks, Alan. And then you can also come back to your cat-cow and go back and forth between that. Another thing you can do is to just step your right foot forward and come into a lunge pose. I'll use my couch cushion so you can get a real feel for this. I'm going to fold the couch cushion in half if it's available. My couch is pretty old and the pillow is pretty soft. And you can just do a little bit of hip opening here, turning the toes out to the right, coming up onto your hands, and just feeling a stretch if that kind of relieves any kind of soreness or tension in your hips. So I like to hold these for about 5 or 6 breaths. You can also set a timer, maybe hold it for a minute or so. If you want a little bit more sensation in this pose, you need a little bit more release, you can lift the back knee and kind of turn the knee towards the right side. So this is my left knee. I'm turning out toward the right. I turn my right toes out toward the right, and I just breathe into the space here. It just kind of releases any tension or pain or perhaps pressure you're feeling at this part of your pregnancy. Just kind of listen to your body. Your body's going to know what to do. Don't push too hard because we've got relaxin that's being released in the body, and our joints are becoming really loose and flexible. We just want to do this as a little bit of a stretch. So I'm not forcing, I'm not pushing past what's available to me. I'm just in a place where I can get a little bit of relief in my hips. So now switch sides. The left foot is stepped forward, the left toes are turned out, knee is in line with the ankle, knee and toes are facing the same direction. Back leg, if you need to pad it, go ahead and slide a blanket, or you can just turn your right hip toward the left and just observe sensation. See where this feels good. Good, beautiful. And then we'll just come out of this pose. The next pose I like to do is to stretch out the low back and the hips if you're feeling a lot of pressure and pain, is a pose called butterfly or Baddha Konasana. We started in that pose when I had the blanket underneath. This is I found a really nice pose when I was pregnant. Pressing the soles of the feet together and just holding on to the ankles, and just, you're extending up through the top of your head, and then you're slowly leaning forward and just feeling whatever stretch feels good. If you tend to have really open hips at this point, it might be wise to take a couple of pillows or any props you have just to bring them under your knees, just so that you feel comfortable here. You can also do this from a reclining posture as well, and I'll show that in a moment. So you can use your couch cushion behind you. And I would take about 10 breaths here, and just wherever it feels comfortable. Good, let's take one more breath. Inhale and come up, and I'll show you this from reclining as well, and I'm going to use the blocks just to support me. So the blanket is going to come behind you, or the bolster is going to come behind you, or your pillow. And you can lay back slowly onto the pillow just to support yourself. I also actually like to prop up my pillow a little bit, so I'm going to use something that's a little bit firmer because my couch cushions have seen better days. And just have more of a reclining, because you don't want to lay flat on your back when you're exercising or when you're pregnant. You always want to be lifted. So you'll notice I'm on an angle here. I'm going to lay back. I call this the pool chair. Bring the soles of the feet together. If you've got blocks, pillows, bolsters, this is a place where you can just slide them underneath your knees and let your shoulders release. And this, as you can see, gives you lots of room to enjoy baby. Gives you a little bit of hip openers, and your back is supported. So this may be even a way that you prop yourself up in bed while you're sleeping. And you can take 10 or 15 breaths here. Just a way to relax the body. And of course, I could probably stay here all day. Feel free to stay here or use these poses in a way that would help you get some relief in your body, help prepare you for labor. So that's everything I have for you today. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy this video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're here with me on YouTube. And again, I will link to where you can get these props if you're interested in having them for your practice. And of course, this particular series of poses is also good for people who are in larger bodies or have a lot of belly skin and need ways to just work around that. Okay, thanks for being here and have a great day. Namaste.